There is no action to report out from the closed session this evening. On our agenda, we want to withdraw item 16A5. 16A5 we are withdrawing. We have the approval of the minutes of May 13th, 2009, and a special meeting of May 21, 2009. Do I hear approval?
Second.
Okay. All in favor? Okay. Minutes have been approved. We have presentations. Tonight we have the employee of the quarter.
Number 8.
Oh, my goodness sakes. The most important thing of the evening.
That's right.
We have the swearing in of the Bush. Let's come back here, please. Okay. And now, would you repeat after me? I, state your name,
I, Krista Bush,
do solemnly
do solemnly swear
that all of my actions
that all of my actions
as a student member of the governing, oh, raise your hand, right
You
hand.
didn't tell me that.
Oh,
We'll start.
okay.
I, Krista Bush,
Do
do
swear
solemnly swear
that all of my actions
that all of my actions
as the student member of the governing board
as the student member of the governing board
of the Southwestern Community College District
of the Southwestern Community College District
will at all times
will at all times
attempt to represent faithfully all student interests and viewpoints
all student interests and viewpoints
and matters coming to my attention
and matters coming to my attention
as a student member of the governing board,
as a student member of the governing board,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United
to
States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
upon which I am about to enter.
upon which I'm about to enter.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now we have the presentations. Employee of the quarter, July 17 to September 2009, is Patricia Soto, the Staff Development Program Assistant. And presenters are Mark Meadows, Vice President of Academic Affairs, Jackie Osborne, Director of Human Resources, Wanda Maxwell, Classified Senate President, and Michael Selby, CSCA President.
Yeah. Okay. Governing Board President Roach, Governing Board members, and our new student member, Dr. Chopra, and honored guests and colleagues, I'd like to present Papi Soto as employee of the quarter, our outstanding classified person. Aromatherapy up here. Okay. And I would like to introduce her mother, Leticia, who has joined us tonight. Thank you. friends and family members have joined her as well. Why has Patty been granted this honor? Most of us have worked with her in one way or another over the years, and we've had several nominations for her to receive this award. And it goes to not only her dependability, her commitment, and her excellent service in everything that she does, from the smallest detail to the biggest event. She puts her heart and her soul into making Southwestern College events and the staff development program one of the most outstanding programs in the state of California, and we can be so proud of that program. And it's also no small task that she's done, many of you know, over the last several years. There was a lack of leadership in staff development, and people were missing as the coordinator is now. Patty just steps up to the plate, she runs the bases, she cleans the bases, she cleans up after the game, she does the whole 9 yards, and we'd like to thank Patty so much tonight.
When I came here last September, coming and learning at the Southwestern College, and it's just a different scale and scope of what we do here. But the staff development, I relied on Patty for the last 10 months that I've been here. I've had, for Ed Code, Title V, working on the Flex Guidelines, I've gone to her, I've relied on her. She's been very credible in giving me the information, advising me, and counseling me which way we should go and the like. And she has been very, very useful. And I can really say this, is that she has provided leadership down there in her role. And people have turned to her from the committee work that we do. And I tell you, if I hadn't had her here the last 10 months, I don't know if I could have been able to flesh out and follow through with many of the things that we did with staff development. And she is right down to the way that she treats the staff, the scheduling, always keeping in communication with me. And I'm been grateful to have worked with her for the last 10 months in the position she's been in. Thank you, Patty.
Yeah, I've known Patty since she was hired at this institution. She's always done an excellent job with staff development. In fact, considering, as somebody mentioned, some of the coordinators we have had in recent history, she is the only person that's kept that staff development program going. So she deserves this award, and I'm really happy for her.
Patty, I'm one of the hardest working women on campus, and if you look up staff development in our staff directory, you'll see her picture because she is staff development. Patty is one of the hardest working women that I know on campus. She puts the P in classified professional. She is always professional with everyone. She knows how much I appreciate her. She's been here for me lately, and I appreciate your love and support that you've given me along with everything else that you do. So on behalf of the Classified Senate, I'm so happy for you, and you're so deserving of this award. Thank you.
I'm very excited. I'm very happy. I love my job. I love Southwestern College. The award I'm receiving tonight is for all my colleagues, classified employees, especially Ellie and Sylvia, because I love them very much, not only as co-workers, but as friends. We developed a nice, healthy friendship, and I'm very proud of them, and I will miss them a lot. Say thank you to my mother and my boyfriend Chris and my professor of science, my ex-student worker Nestor. He worked very hard, and I just want to tell Chris that I love him very much, and I know I come home late sometimes. I get excited at work. Thank you.
Congratulations, Patty, from all of the board as well. And obviously, you're very much loved yourself by everyone. So we appreciate all of your hard work and what you do for Southwestern College. At this time, we have the budget update. Presents of Dr. Chopra, Superintendent, the President Thomas Beasley, and Laura Sellis, Acting Board Controller.
Madam President and trustees, the budget situation when we presented to you the last time, as you're going to see, is the bottom line at this stage. Still, we are going to show you the same. For example, that the general revenue source is $76,416,901. Total other revenue source $10,825,349, and a grand total of $87,242,250. And that is based on the earlier revision, doesn't talk about as much of the cuts and so on. As we indicated to you last time, the salary benefits portion of the budget is roughly about 84%. And the other cost of the budget for every other utilities and all other services is 16%, which brings to a total of 87 million and 100% of the budget. And I think this one is maybe is not as visible, but if you can see the top portion, this is the Community College League of California has developed on the basis of the last governor announcement that what will be the impact of this budget cut on Southwestern College. Please know that these are not definite figures. These are the same, this is their best calculation at this time, which shows that the general cut is going to be $4,894,000. And the categorical cut is $4,123,000, which basically mean, as they say, is roughly about 59% of the current categorical funds. And as you know, we have some very impressive and much needed categorical programs. Then there is an additional one-time categorical cut, $1 million, which brings really for a 08, 09 portion and 9-10 is $10 million. And that basically means that we have to find a solution worth $10 million. Now, I would say for the benefit of the board, that if this was only 9 and 10 year problem, that maybe you can transfer one-time expenses and so on and so forth. What they are telling us, it is 9, 10, 10, 11, 11, 12, at least 3 years problem. So, in other words, that as we look for, it's not only that we have to spend 9, 10, we have to look into 10, 11 also. We have held various forums, we received the input, which is being analyzed, put together from all these groups we met, and the tentative budget which we plan to present to you very soon. We do not know at that time whether we will have the governor revise budget or not, but it's going to be based on whatever the latest revision is issued by the governor, and that we will use. So budget has become a very difficult and challenging task because of the uncertainty and not knowing where the final cuts are going to be. For example, under the categorical program, there was care for foster care, And first they were going to cut, and now they said, no, we are not going to cut that. So the individual group have started their lobbying their own need, which is, I think, also beginning to impact. For example, the disabled students, I cannot see with almost $800,000 cut. And that's again an area of great need that what are the things that we can do. CalWorks is another one. Now they are backpedaling. So we are waiting. It's uncertainty, and we are hoping by June 24th we have some more concrete information when we bring the tentative budget to you, so that we can see where we are going. But there is no avoidance of facts. The serious cuts have to be made. It is tough, it is difficult, it is challenging, but it cannot be avoided. So, but it doesn't mean that we cannot, I think it means we must continue to be as thoughtful as we can, but this is the reality that we have. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Dr. Chopra. At this time, I would like to introduce.
Question?
I'm sorry. Yes. Question?
Yes. I understand the figures, and this is what's coming down from Sacramento. But in terms of what this board needs to do, is there any sense of, from you as the president, as to where we should be looking as priority? What should we be considering as a matter of policy, top priority? Are you proposing that we just pass on the cuts that as they are come down from Sacramento, or do we have any discretion locally to say, instead of cutting 5–10% in this area, we will cut 20% in this other area in order to maintain the quality of teaching, for example? Should that be a priority versus maintenance, especially deferred maintenance? So has there been any, what kind of thinking, or what kind of direction or roadmap do we as a board should we be considering in anticipation of all of these cuts? Or again, are you just going to ask the board to do the across the board cuts as they come down from Sacramento?
Madam President, Mr. Aguilar, what we are trying to ascertain, there are two categories, the restricted and the unrestricted. In unrestricted fund, the board will have some leeway and prerogative in terms of the recommendation we make and how the board wants to adjust. And in the restricted fund, unless in Sacramento they say your restricted funds have been reduced by this percentage, but then you allocate within the restricted program, it's up to you. That gives us the flexibility. If they say it is across the board from each restricted fund, like 58.8%, and that means our flexibility may be a little less. But we will be examining, there are some programs which may be so critical that we may have to look into the possibility of supporting those programs even from our unrestricted funds. So we have to review and evaluate. Once we go through the input which we have received, our hope is that we come to you with some concrete suggestions which the board can then further discuss and make final decisions.
Well, is there any criteria that we should be talking about in terms of from the board to give direction to staff as to where we should be looking harder, or what things we need to not sacrifice because of a high priority? I don't want to, I'm not talking about specific programs, because I don't know how many programs we have, and that wouldn't be my role, but certainly there could be criteria that can be used and applied. Well, I'm asking, is there a criteria that can be used or applied in trying to develop this roadmap to coming up with this $10 million shortfall, as opposed to just being presented with the proposed budget on whenever the special meeting is to be scheduled. I understand it's June 24th, and so that the board is left with no alternatives but to adopt that board and not having an opportunity to discuss as a board where this college should be focusing and where the cuts can be taken, can be made, or should be made at a deeper level. And again, I understand that this board has no discretion over the unrestricted monies, because they come down with those mandates unless the legislature gives us that discretion. But certainly in the unrestricted funds, there is local discretion. And so, again, for example, if we want to reduce the budget, our contingency fund, instead of being 6%, could be 4%. And if we want to put classroom needs as a priority over landscaping, certainly we ought to be able to do that. So those are examples, and I'm not picking those specifically, but those are examples of the kind of overarching direction or criteria that we should be considering as a board, so that the public understands why it is that we are cutting, or why it is that we are saving this program over another program, and we don't get into this subjective discussion about this program is better than that program.
Thank you. Ms. Alcino?
I just wanted to go ahead and add that, everybody here? Oh, okay. I just wanted to go ahead and add as to where we may go ahead and look at the cuts. What is in place, and it's my understanding, and that is in addition to the budget task force that we have being represented by all the constituency groups, is that in order for us to be able, for the board to be able to take a look as to where the cuts are going to be made, we need the input from the various constituency groups, the academic senate, and so on and so on.
When we give you input, it goes into a black hole.
And we have a very serious budget situation that we need to go ahead and deal with. And what I'm trying to say is that everybody will go ahead and try to give or try to provide input as to where those cuts are going to come, because we need input from the managers who are managing the various departments as well as the schools. And that information is going to be coming up to the president, where an analysis is going to be made of all those recommendations, and that information will be provided to us from the ground up. For the board to go ahead and really take a look as to what is important and it's not without getting input from the constituency groups, it's really hard for me to make a decision like that, specifically when we are talking about, I think physical science is going to take a hit of $1 million and $1,600,000 and so on. I mean, if we go ahead and just go by the numbers that we receive, I mean, that totally wipes out our athletic department. And so that is for those deans to go ahead and take a look at that department, see how much they can save, and so on and so on. It's the same thing, I believe, with OEPS. And I mean, we're taking some serious hits here. So it's imperative that we get the information from all the departments, the managers, the groups, and so on and so on. So when we go ahead and really take a look at this, we have information that we can go ahead and make a informative decision.
Yes, student president.
Yeah, I just want to say, we are having our meeting tomorrow with the students to find out our recommendations for you guys. But I just want to publicly ask on the students' behalf that when you guys are looking at these categorical programs that are going to be cut, and we know they're going to be cut, and that's terrible, we're going to take a hit. Every student's going to take a hit, and I know that. But we want to minimize that hit, and if there's any way possible, I mean, I don't know, I'm still learning how this whole budget stuff works, but if there's any way possible, even if it means you have to pull all-nighters, which I've already done looking at these numbers, some of these programs, like EOPS, obviously, you know, they unfortunately, they can have a cap on them, but some like DSS cannot, and if you cut 60% of that, the student population using DSS is still only going to grow. So regardless of how much you cut from it, there's still going to be more and more people in it, and they have an outreach, they're constantly getting even more, and they can't turn anyone away. So if there's a way to supplement some of these cuts to these programs by cutting in other areas and maybe shifting the money around, I mean, from the students, please do that. You know, please make sure that some of these programs that can't not turn away people and are continuously growing, some of them have at least the funding they need to minimally survive. Because 60%, I don't know how DSS would possibly be able to function that way.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay, thank you for those excellent comments, Dr. Choker. Anything else? Okay, very good. At this time, I would like to introduce our parliamentarian for the evening, and it's Mr. Bruce Bishop. And he will be assisting me in our parliamentary procedures, and I will try my best to follow the order that I'm supposed to be doing, so that if I don't, then Mr. Bishop will certainly fill in for me as well. So thank you for being with us this evening.
Thank you.
We now have oral communications, and persons wishing to speak have turned in yellow cards. And an oral presentation to the board does not constitute an open discussion on the presentation or topic, unless that topic is on the posted agenda. And so pursuant to the Brown Act, no action or discussion shall be undertaken on any item not appearing on the posted agenda. So therefore, we have a few that would like to speak. And our first speaker is Veronica Lavarello, San Diego Coalition Peace and Justice.
Can you hear me?
No, the microphone's not on. No.
Well, I'm going to try to speak as loud as I can. Since last meeting, I heard many board members that were open to other suggestions for this firing ranges instead of using the facilities from Blackwater. I decided to go to all shooting ranges that you guys have listed in your matrix as not being available for you guys, for your students, to for any reason that they couldn't use. And I was pleasantly surprised to find out that 6 of the 7 listed shooting ranges are actually willing and happy to take your students. And I was even more surprised when I went to the sheriff range in Miramar base, who explained actually that they have never taken your students out of their schedule, and that they were surprised that they find out through the news that you guys were having problems with them scheduling the shooting classes. So they talk about also that they probably had before some issues with, they have a gas pipeline going through their range, and they have to schedule that for maintenance. But they said now they have that schedule in order, and there shouldn't be a problem for any of your students to schedule their classes ahead, way ahead. They currently train the Navy, and I believe they currently train other, the cadets, and they currently train other people that need the facilities.
and they are willing and looking forward to have you guys back. And this is at no cost to you, because they don't charge a penny to you guys. And I don't know if you were aware of this. They will start charging, and I don't know if you have this matrix, I asked the secretary to give it to you. They will start charging from December on. And I think also it's important, I think there's been some serious miscommunication between them and your staff for some reason, I don't know. They also mentioned, and this is important, Mr. Dominguez, because at one point you mentioned that the classes cost $300 to $800 per student per session. That's not the case. If they were to charge, they are going to charge $300 per group per session, which will come up to about $1 to $1.50 per session per student. So this is very doable, and I encourage you guys to go back to the sheriff range and talk to these two people. They are Brian McCauley, he's a sergeant, and the other one is John Groff. And I have made copies of their business cards. And then, in addition to them, all the other shooting ranges are open for your students. And it's not $300 per session.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Our next speaker is Bonnie Price.
Hello, and I want to commend all of the board members for their service. I know you have many, many difficult decisions to make these days. I have not been at previous meetings regarding the Blackwater situation, but I wish I had, because I want to add my voice to those who've already raised this, that you not consider joining forces with them. They have a very tortured history, which probably you've heard about. They've operated at the limits of the law or outside the law whenever possible. And I believe exposing students at Southwestern College or any college to a corporate culture that encourages such behavior does the students a disservice, because they come to learn a skill, an occupation, a career, and we do not want to encourage people who are pursuing careers through colleges to learn the wrong approach to life, especially the lawless side of life. So I thank you for your thoughts, and I hope you will reconsider any connection you have with them.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Raymond Lutz.
Thank you very much. My name is Ray Lutz. I'm with Citizens Oversight ORG. Again, thank you for all your work. I know you have some big questions ahead of you here. I have a couple of comments. This happens because we don't get to make comments after you do your work on the meeting. So we've got to wait till the next meeting to make any comments about what you just did. So roll back the clock and pretend we just got done with what you did last time. I would suggest that you avoid substitute motions. Complete the motion on the floor, vote it down if you'd like, and then open a new motion. Don't add motion upon motion. It's really confusing to the public to try to figure this out. I would also suggest that you write the agenda so as not to predetermine the available motions that you can make. We had a contract that was being considered. It should be valid to accept it as is. It should be valid to turn it down. It should be valid to say we want to renegotiate it. All those things should be available to the body at the time. Now, I want to acknowledge Veronica for doing the work that she did, because she worked for days and days working on that project. Thank you, Veronica. And surprisingly enough, we found that this sheriff's range, which is a really good place for the students to go, because that is hopefully a place they might get work. They could get work with the sheriff's department. And this is along the lines of a place we'd like to lead them toward, rather than leading them toward a life with Blackwater. I understand, and I learned this since the last meeting, that in order to get certain contracts, Blackwater needs to say that they have a teaming relationship with the college. And so this is really, I believe, the underlying agenda of what they like there. It may be worth a lot of money to them to get that teaming relationship. So to accept a contract where you're just getting something for free, which, by the way, you have to pay for the silhouettes. I don't know how much they're going to charge you for each silhouette shooting, target. But the other ranges don't charge for the silhouettes, or it's part of the charge. So it isn't absolutely at no charge. But this arrangement where they get to say that there's a teaming relationship is, again, I'd like to reassert, and I said this last time, these sort of things where they get to say that they have a relationship with the college should come before you, and you get to approve what they get to say. They shouldn't be able to say they have a teaming relationship in a certain way unless you say that's all right. That's even if you go ahead and everybody says they love working with this organization. The work that Veronica did, I got a chance to review it before the meeting, and I think we'd like to continue working on it with you guys. We've gotten some late information from the dean of that, or the acting dean of that department. So if we can work on that and come back again, we'd like to do that.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Rebecca, and I'm not going to pronounce your name right. I'm sure. Rebecca.
Thank you for listening to me this evening. You heard from me the last 3 board meetings discussing this partnership with Blackwater. So I finally went on the website and found the mission statement for the Police Academy training program here at Southwestern College. And the first long phrase is, the Basic Police Academy training program strives to prepare students mentally, morally, and physically to advance in the field training program. And my question is, why would we enter into a contract with a company whose morality is questionable at best? Thank you so much, Veronica, for the work that you have done. Not only might we find a better place for our students to get the training they need, you even found it for us for free. And that's something I think we could all use right now. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Sylvia Lugo.
Good evening, Governing Board, Dr. Chopra. As he just presented to you in the budget and pointed out how we are in a deep, deep budget crisis, I'd like to bring to your attention item 13C on your Governing Board agenda. And just to help you understand that there are many things in that Governing Board agenda every month that might not get by you. And this is just an example, especially like it's been pointed out that we are in a deep budget crisis. Item 13C includes the rehiring of classified short-term employees, specifically the position of information intern. As a short-term employee, and this short-term employee has been employed in the Office of Community and Media Relations for 2 years. How is an intern employed for 2 years? She continually gets rehired as the public information intern in Community and Media Relations office with a pay rate that has escalated from $10 an hour to $15 an hour, and now before you, $22.98 an hour. That is an increase of $7.98 an hour. Let me break it down a little bit further. She works 175 days in 1 year. And 8 hours a day, that is a pay raise of $11,000 a year. I think this is atrocious that we're laying off full-time classified employees and giving an hourly intern a raise of $11,000 a year. By the way, the college also sent the same employee to professional development conference in San Francisco in March of this year and spent more than $1,000. I thought travel was frozen for all employees. Why is this happening? And I just, like I said, wanted to bring that to your attention. Thank you.
Virginia Martinez.
Hello, everyone. I'm here tonight because I'm baffled. It's baffling to comprehend the continuous cries of a budget crisis by the college, while at the same time proposing to hire high-paying administrators. This proposal is in direct opposition to the budget recommendations made by each constituent group to reduce administrative costs. The combined yearly cost of last month's governing board approved dean's position and the 2 administrative positions being considered tonight for governing board approval is $367,000 in salaries alone. The cost of these 3 administrative positions could easily cover the cost of 8 classified positions. Currently, hiring committees are being formed for 3 more high-paying administrative positions, again in opposition to the recommendations of the various constituent groups of this campus community. It's also baffling to comprehend why the college has chosen to take an opposing view in Tucker versus Rosemont, which allows a laid-off employee with minimum qualifications to fill an open position. The court did not address whether or not the employee had to apply. Thus, the college could interpret the ruling in favor of the laid-off employees, but has chosen to take an opposing position. It's baffling because the college has repeatedly stated its desire to keep classified employees, which it clearly could have accomplished by placing laid-off employees in positions that were open and in which employees met the minimum qualifications. However, the college chose to close all positions for classified staff shortly after the employees were laid off. CSEA has repeatedly been told that the college was going to stop the use of past practice. However, it has continued the past practice of rehiring short-term employees. The 7-page short-term list that I provided for distribution to the governing board reflects continuous employment of many non-emergency employees, which is contrary to the intent of the law. Currently, the college has approximately 250 short-term employees on its payroll. Some of these short-term employees have been filling positions for many years. If the true goal of the college is to keep employees, it could adhere to the law and find positions for the laid-off employees, which is what we were told it would attempt to do. The college could place employees in positions currently being held by short-term employees who are supposed to be hired for special projects, not for continuous employment. Instead, the governing board is being asked to again approve a large number of short-term employees. It is very discouraging when full-time classified employees are being laid off due to lack of funds, yet tonight the board is being asked to approve approximately $1.2 million in short-term positions, not to mention the cost of numerous consultants. I strongly urge the governing board to table the approval of short-term employees and thoroughly review non-emergency assignments to ensure compliance with the short-term employment law. It's also baffling that the college soon asked the governing board to outsource classified work. Thank you. And Helen Farrell will finish on it.
And Helen Hill.
It's also baffling that the college may soon ask the governing board to outsource classified work, namely the website which duties were previously performed by one of the laid-off employees. I strongly urge the governing board to reject any outsourcing of work of laid-off employees, or for that matter, any classified work. What is most baffling is the appearance that the governing board did not thoroughly investigate the process used for the reorganization, especially how it was determined which positions employees would be eliminated and how critical functions of their responsibilities would impact the college community in their absence. I urge the governing board to rescind its approval of reorganization until it has the opportunity to thoroughly review its process and to meet with each group individually or collectively to obtain a better understanding of the ill effects the reorganization has created. Thank you.
Next speaker is Pamela Caldwell.
Good evening. I'm a member of the CSEA Executive Board, and I've been asked to read this resolution. Date, May 27, 2009, authored by California School Employees Association, Chapter 524. Titled, Vote No Confidence in Superintendent President Raj K. Chopra. Whereas CSEA Chapter 524 of Southwestern College, the exclusive bargaining representative of classified employees, fundamentally disagrees with many of the decisions and priorities of the current superintendent president. And whereas CSEA members are joined with our academic senate colleagues and council of chairs and wholly support their recent collective comments and actions. Whereas due to recent actions taken by the superintendent president to reorganize the Southwestern College campus with a complete lack of regard for Southwestern College's standing commitment to its own shared governance guidelines adopted by the district on January 8, 1997, which in part states as follows. Shared governance is the act of district employees participating collegially in the decision-making process of the college. The goal of shared governance is to include within the decision-making process representatives of the college constituencies affected by these decisions. To ensure that governance is shared, all groups shall operate within the shared governance processes. Mutual trust and support are essential for the success of shared governance. These result from a demonstration by each group involved that they first seek to improve the college and strengthen its ability to carry out the college's mission of educating our constituent populations. And whereas CSEA members take great exception to the process by which the superintendent president makes decisions. After promising collaboration on the proposed reorganization, no input from CSEA leadership was requested prior to the presentation of the completed plan to the governing board. Thus, CSEA Chapter 524 expresses no confidence in the leadership of the superintendent president, Raj K. Chopra. Now therefore be it resolved that Southwestern College CSEA Chapter 524 unites with our academic colleagues and solemnly votes no confidence in superintendent president Raj K. Chopra. And be it resolved that CSEA Chapter 524 urges the Southwestern College District Governing Board to take swift, direct, and deliberate action to address CSEA concerns as expressed clearly by the vote of no confidence at the May 27, 2009 resolution vote. Be it further resolved that CSEA urges the Southwestern Community College District Governing Board to open dialogue formally with the faculty and CSEA leadership. Can I finish? Leadership prior to June 15, 2009 for the purpose of addressing concerns, and be it finally resolved that CSEA respectfully requests that the Southwestern College Community College District Governing Board provide a written response to this resolution by June 15, 2009, detailing the governing board's plan to improve the relationship between the superintendent president, the faculty, and the classified staff of Southwestern College, and to ensure true shared governance at Southwestern College as defined by Ed Code Section 70902B, 7, Title 5, Sections 53200, 51023.5 and 51023.7, and accreditation standards for A2 and for A5, as we are gravely concerned that allowing this issue to go unresolved could adversely affect the accreditation and have other long-term negative consequences. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next speaker is Mary Mann.
Thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. Tonight I'm here again to speak about the ongoing issue concerning the cut reassigned time from the advisors of the National Champion Sun newspaper, the speech and debate team, which was ranked second and third best community college in the country the last 2 years respectively, and the Art Gallery, which is a highly noted platform of artistic expression in the South Bay area. I am Eric Magda, co-director of the speech and debate program. In early October, we were first informed that the reassigned time was in jeopardy when we were accused of being double dippers. Since that time, the advisors of these programs have on 3 different occasions been asked to reduce and submit rationales for the hours we have worked towards the reassigned time that we were given. On all 3 occasions, we have spent hours preparing these documents. We have had 2 different meetings this year with Dr. Meadows concerning this issue. At the latest meeting during finals week a few weeks ago, we were told 3 basic things. First, we were told that the documents we provided have convinced Dr. Meadows that he was wrong about the amount of work that we have committed to this college, and that he is now aware of how much effort we have all devoted in the name of Southwestern College Jaguar. Second, he informed us that unfortunately the decision was not his to make, and that he was going to have to go to the cabinet, whomever that is, so that they can make a final decision. Finally, we were told we would get a fast resolution to this issue, because after all, very important issues will need, or decisions will need to be made regarding the future of these programs that are set to start in just a couple of months. I appreciate that Dr. Meadows has acknowledged his errors. That, in my opinion, is a real sign of leadership. But what frustrates me is that I don't even get a dialogue with the person or the persons who actually will make this decision. In this case, we are relying on Dr. Meadows to state our case for us. We are counting on the fact that he will take all of the information that we have spent so many hours preparing and use it to help our leaders make the decision that is in the best interest of Southwestern College. This is why I am so surprised when I read the agenda enclosures that Dr. Meadows submitted regarding the reassigned issue. After 8 months of meetings and documentation of hours worked, Dr. Meadows' enclosure simply states that we can either keep the reassigned time, increase the reassigned time, reduce the reassigned time, or eliminate the reassigned time. I'm pretty sure that that narrows us down to every possible solution. If Dr. Meadows has failed to reveal to you any of the documentation that was submitted in our defense, he has failed to give you any suggestions about what we might do and what is in the best interest of Southwestern College. I very much hope that Dr. Meadows will expand significantly on his enclosure when he gives his report to you tonight about this significant issue. I hope that he gives you just a glimpse of what we have found, or what he has found, in the last 8 months of his investigation on this issue. In case he doesn't expand on this enclosure, I have been given packets of all the documentation that he has been provided. Copies will be given to all of the governing board members, the president of the ASO, and President Chopra. These documents prove by any measure that all of the advisors in question have worked well beyond the hours we have been paid. In my case, I was able to document to the satisfaction of Dr. Meadows over 800 hours worked compared to 122.5 hours paid. I don't know how others might calculate these numbers, but it seems to me that instead of getting ripped off, Southwestern College is getting one heck of a steal here. Right. At a previous governing board meeting, At a previous governing board meeting, I was pleasantly surprised that the governing board members revealed that they were a bit surprised by the action had been taken. And I hope tonight that you send a message to our leaders who will make this decision that you would like to keep these programs and you'd like to restore the reassigned time back to the way it was. This is not
Next speaker is Karina Soto.
Good evening, board members and public. I wanted to take a moment to speak regarding the budget. And I just wanted to say that in terms of the budget, I think the decisions to be made are pretty simple, actually, as long as we begin with some basic principles. The very first principle is to begin with the best interest of everyone at heart. We are the students, the employees, and the taxpayers who serve this college and who in turn are served by the college. That means to reorg the reorg, bring back our 5. Bring back Elisandra, Nevada, Fernando, Linda, and Sylvia. Bring them back so that we can share the sacrifice. We can share the sacrifice as administrators, as faculty, and as classified proportionately. Just bring them back and we'll do it all together. Save as many jobs as possible, and most importantly, keep people's health and welfare benefits. We need to keep people's health and welfare benefits in this community because one uninsured visit to a hospital and you wipe out an entire family. They will not recover from those uninsured visits. And I'm talking about our families, the families of all the people in this room. Yes. Number 5 says people before buildings. Consolidate sites. People before buildings. What a humane thought. Number 6, don't fly new positions. Number 7, fill open positions from within with people who have experience in the community colleges versus those that don't, especially during this time when California finds itself in the worst economic crisis that any of us have ever seen. We need experience, we need institutional memory, and we need people who can jump and get the job going. Number 8, and the most important one, and that is this. Our administrators need to be willing to take a stand. In fact, can you take 3 stands? Please, come us come to the unions and to the senates with 3 different budget scenarios with actual money and numbers and positions that you want to cut and positions that you want to keep. Do this by Monday, June the 15th, 2009. So that way, we, the unions and the academic senates, we can negotiate back and forth with you, we can negotiate back and forth with the boards, and we can negotiate back and forth with each other and the students. Because the thing that always kills everything is logistics, is the timelines. So we need actual numbers now. No more waffling, let's just put our cards on the table and see what we can do. So 3 scenarios, one you hate, one you love, one you can live with, right? Yeah. Give us time to take official votes with our bodies. We have to have official votes. And right now, you know that a lot of the bodies, at least for the faculty, are off duty. So tracking them down means the district and the union have to work together to pull the labels and to print the documents and to send them out and then to have them returned. You want to have that stuff back by at least Monday, June the 29th, if you want to make a decision to have somewhat of a realistic legal and final budget by June the 30th. Now, I'm thinking we have a little bit of room, but we're running out of time. So by Monday, June the 15th, 3 budget scenarios with these basic principles in mind. Thank you.
Thank you to all the speakers this evening, and that concludes our oral communication. And now I go to item number 11, approve consent calendar items A through I. Do I hear a motion?
So moved. Excuse me, point of order. I want to pull items H and I, or any alternative. Just note on the record, my have to abstain on those 2 items.
Which one, H, I, and which one?
H and I, the last 2.
The last 2 items. To exclude items H and I, confirmation of purchase orders and payment of bills. So, do I hear a motion on 11A, 11B, 11C, 11D, 11E, 11F, and 11G?
Second.
Any more discussion? All right, please vote. A verbal vote with Trustee Hubert.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.